Oh my god, I'm 97 and I didn't even study. What did you get? 100? Oh, congrats. 3-point difference. Same thing. No. You got a 97 because that's all you could get. I got 100 because that's all there was to get.
Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you study, there's always that one kid who sits in the back, does nothing, and somehow still scores higher than you? It's just not fair. And when you ask them how they did it, they hit you with the classic, "Oh, I barely studied for this." But honestly, it's not far from the truth. The smartest students actually study way less, but way more effectively than you do. You think they have some kind of unfair advantage, and you'd be absolutely right. Let me explain. There are two halves to the human brain. The left hemisphere controls the right side of your body and is responsible for logic, language, and analysis. The right hemisphere is what convinced me to become an entrepreneur. My life. So what's this unfair advantage that these smart students have over you? Mind maps. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. How on earth do circles and lines give me an unfair advantage? Let's take a quick trip back in time. The history of mind mapping dates back to the 3rd century. That's like 20 grandpas ago. The art of mind mapping was passed down from generation to generation, and there's a reason why it's still being used to this very day. The mind mapping method builds on the idea that two halves of the human brain are responsible for two different tasks. Mind mapping is designed to use both sides to increase memory retention and productivity. Studies show that retention is increased by 10 to 15% when using mind maps. PubMed conducted a study to test the effectiveness of mind mapping, and it clearly showed that mind mappers performed far better, especially when it looked at their long-term memory. In the study, participants were split into two groups. One was made to use mind mapping as their study method, and the other could study however they liked. Interestingly, the study also suggested that the group that had been forced to use the mind mapping technique would have achieved even better memory recall results had they chosen to use mind mapping themselves. Now the question is, how do you mind map? With the power of circles and lines, you too can make a mind map. We're in an era where technology has advanced so much it'd be stupid not to use it. Recently, I started using a mind mapping tool that uses the power of AI to help you study way more effectively. There are heaps of tools out there that can do this, but I personally use eDrawMind. Now, some of you may ask, what the f is that? And that's a very good question. So here's my step-by-step guide on how I used mind maps to gain an unfair advantage. Step 1. Open the app. When you first open eDrawMind, you'll see a lot of buttons, but don't let that distract you from the most important one of them all. The subscribe button. Step 1. Click the new mind map and you will see this, a basic mind map template. But what difference is this from just brain dumping onto a piece of paper? Well, for one, hashtag team trees, and 2, because of this. Step 2. Expand your ideas. eDrawMind can expand on your ideas with just a click. Let's say my mind map is about my girlfriend's mood swings. Click the white bubble, hit generate, and press one-click mind map. You can always do a mind map on paper, but like brother... what? Why is it autoplaying? How do I turn this shit off? My mom just always sends these random videos on the family group chat. And like, nobody replies. Step 4. Add subtopic. Now, call me ignorant, but I have no idea what a menopause is. And the closest thing I know about it is this meme I read back in 2017. So for anything you want the mind map to expand on, you can simply click on it and generate subtopics. And as you can see, a menopause marks the end of a woman's reproductive years. The more you know. Step 5. Chatbot. If you run out of ideas, eDrawMind's AI bot has your back. Ask something like, "I'm poor," and it'll generally try to help you. Step 6. Convert to slides. Is your mind map looking rather messy, like Chewbacca's pubes? Fear not, eDrawMind lets you convert your mind map into a PowerPoint presentation with just a few clicks. Click slides, choose a template, and instant slides. Now, have you ever had a giant document you couldn't be bothered to read? I know you do, because you never read the T's and C's. Me neither. I don't know how many times I signed my rights away. How many masters I show not I know. And that's where I use file analysis. Just upload the file and let the tool summarize the document for you. Image analysis. If you're like me and take pictures of the board instead of writing notes, this feature will f you up. I don't have pictures of notes right now, so instead I will use Mr. Huffman's notes on good conclusions. Control C, Control V, Bob's your uncle, you now have copied everything down. Speaking of good conclusions, thank you eDrawMind for sponsoring this video and allowing my out-of-pocket jokes. With that said, I will now be signing off with an unnecessary K-drama outro.